Okay, so tell me if this situation sounds familiar to you guys. You log into your world, you run around some. Maybe you check your blast furnace, maybe you check your applied energistics system. Maybe you have a scroll through the quest book to look at some easy quests you can complete, maybe some loot bags you can open. Maybe you decide to go AFK, make yourself a cup of coffee like I just did, and you come back, you run around some more, and then eventually you stop and you ask yourself, like, wait a second, what am I doing here? What am I supposed to be doing here? Don't lie to me, I know that happens to you guys as well. It's not just me, and that's exactly the situation I find myself in today. I logged in without a plan. So while I might not be able to tell you how this episode is going to end, I can at least say how we're going to start this episode, and that is with an upgrade to our power system. So we have these 5 large gas turbines, which have been here for a number of episodes by now. And we were working at the end of the last episode to craft up another 5, at least to begin with. We're going to go for an extra 20, or no, an extra 15 to make it 20 total. So these 5 here are going to stay in the base, so long as we have machines here, because we need power in this dimension. And so we actually got most of the multi-block, in fact all of the multi-block crafted in the previous episode. And I just realised I don't have night vision either, so let's get the lens on. So our turbines are going to be placed in the void dimension here, which is our brand new base. Just to recap, we are going to be moving everything from the overworld into the void dimension, into the personal dimension. And I'm really looking forward to this project now. I'm kind of invested, but I'm also realising that it's going to take me a lot longer than I initially kind of planned. Yeah, I've got a lot of machines to move, but that's okay. We've got infinite time. Time doesn't really matter. We're going to just enjoy it, no matter how long it takes. So yeah, we got our quantum ring established here in the last episode, and this gives us access to applied energistics, and this is connected to the overworld. So I was finding that there was a few issues between episodes where basically anytime I left the dimension, went through the portal and came back, the terminals here took about a minute to re-establish a channel. I thought maybe it could have been a chunk loading issue, but we have all the chunks loaded that have AE components inside. And just on the off chance it was power, I decided to add in some energy cells, and that seems to have fixed the problem. I mean, can you imagine every time we leave the portal, back and forward, it takes a minute to re-establish a connection with AE? I would have been extremely sad. That would have made things 10 times more difficult. Anyways, getting back to the turbines, so I did in fact decide to go ahead and place the multi-blocks between episodes. The first consideration was to make sure they didn't cross the chunk boundary, as we discussed last episode. So every turbine is going to get a machine controller, the large gas turbine controller of course. The turbines also get an EV buffered dynamo hatch, which is the energy output, and that's being fed into an extreme transformer. And the transformer is transforming from EV to IV power. Each turbine also gets a maintenance hatch, a muffler hatch, and an input hatch. And the input is where we supply the benzene, the fuel for the turbines. Then I connected up some steel fluid pipe to distribute the benzene into all the turbines, and we had to be mindful of the throughput of the pipe. And at least according to my calculation, the steel fluid pipe that we have is enough to supply the turbines in this specific configuration for the number that we have. And it's even enough to supply the extra 3, which is eventually going to be placed on the end here. And for those of you who are curious, the number for our large gas turbine burning benzene with HSSE rotors is apparently 260 litres per second. There is a formula and a way to get to this number, but I don't remember how exactly you get to that number. I was just copying it from the setup that we have. But if you really want to figure it out, there is a turbine calculator, which you can find in, I think, either the GTNH Discord or my Discord. You can find it somewhere, but yeah, 260 is the number that we need here. We have this set on a fluid regulator. So then for the power output, we're also using a 4X HSSG cable. And before you guys comment, I know the HSSG cable is in fact an LUV cable, and I just said that we were generating EV power and transforming up to IV. So in fact, if we remind ourselves of the voltages, It goes LV, low voltage, medium voltage, HV, EV, IV, then LUV, then ZPM. The turbines generate EV and we transform up to IV, and we're using LUV cable. And I actually only realized this morning when I was placing this cable. Yeah, I was pretty much just copying what we have in these turbines here, and remember it's been 9 months, over 9 months since I built these turbines. Probably closer to a year by now. But I can only assume that we're using HSSG because when we constructed the turbines, we didn't have the platinum line built, or all of these machines here to give us platinum. And platinum is the ideal IV cable, as you can see here. It can carry 8,192 volts with minimal loss, so it only loses 1 EU per block. There is a lossless cable, the superconductor cable, but that is very expensive, and it just isn't really viable for us at the moment. And also, I wanna swap out this as well. So as you might have spotted, we do also have our large turbines, the HSSE, and I made them in this fluid solidifier. This is actually made for rotors. So I just borrowed the machine. We need at least EV. This is an EV machine. Let's put our mold back in this chest here. Yeah, check this out. We even have some spare HSSE, which I suppose we'll use for even more large turbines when we craft up some more. I don't know when that's going to be. I'll probably do that between episodes at some point. At some point, I don't know. We're not even using any of this power, and this thing doesn't even work yet. We're about to turn it on. So I suppose the final thing before we switch on all these machines is the redstone control down here. So similar to the way we have it in the overworld, we have a battery system, along with an identical redstone latch system to control the turbines, and it took me way longer than I'd like to admit to craft all the redstone components. Not because it's particularly difficult, just because it's been so long since I've messed with any of the Thaumcraft machines. And it's pretty safe to say that whenever we come back to Thaumcraft, which is going to be at some point, I mean, we're going to have to do it for progression, I'm going to need you guys to help me. And that goes for quite a lot of the things in this series, because there's quite a lot I'm still unsure about. But figuring things out is part of the fun, and I want to include that a lot more in the episodes, as I mentioned last time. So we have an IV battery buffer holding some Lapitronic energy orbs, and these things I just yoinked from the overworld, so we're going to have to craft up some more. Then on the battery buffer we've got an energy detector cover, and this should measure the total amount of EU stored in the batteries, and that's being sent down to 2 dense red crystals. Oh yeah, I'm also aware of the flight time. We have 2 minutes left. Don't want to fall in the void. Yeah, so the one on the left is on power 2. The one on the right is on power 11. And I might also disable... Oh. Wait. Oh yeah, that's right. We have the new trophy system. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I got a Discord message about this. Look at this. We have like a trophy system similar to DJ2, and I'm a sucker for these things. Oh my goodness, there's so many. There's so many of them. The Deep Dark assembly line. Oh, we should be getting this one soon. The Thaumatorium, we've already crafted that. I guess we just have to like pick up the items again. The blast furnace, there's no recipe for them. It must be for holding specific items throughout progression. The research station, the nano forge. Wait, nano forge, that was the thing I showed off in the update video, right? Hold on, I know this is a tangent, but oh yeah, whoa. Look at this thing. But this is past our goal of the tier 7 rocket as well, so I don't know if we're going to get this or not. Who knows? At least I'm pretty sure it's past tier 7. Yeah, this is UV. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's past tier 7 rocket. Yeah, that trophy system is huge for players like me. I love trophy hunting. It's so good. Anyways, the redstone signal, what I was going to do here was disable these 2 sides so that only this block and this block can give it a redstone signal. So yeah, the one on the left is on power 2. That goes into a NOT gate, then into a piece of redstone dust, and into a redstone latch. The one on the right is on power 11, into a repeater, redstone dust, redstone latch, and then it feeds into a transmitter. And by the way, if you want to copy this setup, you might have to hit these these two devices here with one of these screwdrivers just to get them in the correct mode. But you'll eventually get it. It looks something like this. But yeah, the transmitter goes to the receiver, and that feeds all of the machine controllers. And on all the large gas turbines, we have machine controller covers on enable with redstone. And I don't know how many of you guys will remember the golden rule, redstone on, machine on. So we have to make sure that all the maintenance is good. I think I did already sort the maintenance. Yeah, we got the maintenance sorted, we just have to give it the turbines. And I think we're ready for our first test here. So essentially what we want to happen is whenever the batteries are full enough, the turbines turn off, and it looks like they are full enough right now in the configuration that they're in. And then when we're running out of energy, i.e. when we take this out, no explosions please. Turbines are on, yes, perfect. The turbines turn on. Awesome, so let's see how much power we're generating. We can see with the portable scanner. Okay, 1000 EU. I think that's normal, 2000 EU. Yeah, that's right, they have a turbine speed, as you can see here, it's 36%. 47%, they're going to climb. And the faster they spin, the more efficient they are with fuel, and the higher amount of power they generate. It should top out here about 8000 EU a tick, I think, for each turbine. Everything appears to be running normally, and we should be getting power here in the battery. Which we are, perfect. Nice. Yeah, 100% speed, and we're at 7956 EU a tick. Oh, there's the backup. Fortunately, there's no explosions, we're all good. Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly how full the battery buffer needs to be to turn off the turbines, but because it's based on signal strength and a percentage, even if we have like 9 empty batteries in the battery buffer, it should be enough to indicate to the system that, like, okay, we're low on power, turn on the turbines for us and generate us some more. Alright, so mission accomplished. That was relatively smooth, expensive, but it's going to be worth it for us. We're going to use up all this power probably faster than we realise, and we'll be adding many more turbines. But yeah, now that we have, by the way, they just stopped a second ago. Yeah, it's about 1.5 batteries, and the power's still trickling in. I guess they still have some power in their buffer. So yeah, now that we have all this power generation here in the void, what are we going to do with it? Oh, you know what? We should build ourselves a trophy room. And they even sit at an angle as well. So I'm thinking that since we yoinked the batteries from here, we're going to have to craft up some more. These are also used, by the way, in other places, like for example in the Lapatronic capacitor. And this is an upgraded battery, it's a multi-block battery. I believe it's called the Lapatronic supercapacitor, this thing. Definitely not cheap, and it is an expandable multi-block. You can have several layers and it will store more power. So we're going to want to craft that up, but for these batteries, not only do we need platinum, which we should be able to manage, we need platinum in a lot of places coming up here, but we also need engraved Lapatron chips, I think it is. I think it was these things, which needs Lapatron crystals, and these require vibrant alloy. I'm starting to formulate a plan here in real time. I had no idea I was going to be doing this, but here we are. And vibrant alloy is made in the blast furnace, or at least it's cooked in the blast furnace. So I think what we should consider doing here is moving the blast furnaces over to the void, along with the freezer, I suppose, and then also potentially look at an upgrade. So remember, there are multiple tiers of blast furnace coils, and each coil gives you an energy discount and a speed increase. So we want to get the maximum tier coils we can. Hello, Thumbcraft. It's not actually an explosion, by the way. That's just warp. Happens all the time. I'm used to it. But as long as we don't have any real explosions. So yeah, I wonder if we can look at getting HSS coils. And we'll also need to find a location here in the void. So what I'm thinking is, since they consume such a large amount of EU, it makes sense to put it next to the battery system to minimize cable loss. Yeah, maybe over this side somewhere. Oh, this is just fantastic. Oh my goodness, what a mess. I told you this would happen. I told you this would happen. Oh, I can't see anything. Oh my goodness, what is this? Oh, turn off the waypoint beacons. Hold on. turn these off so I can see what I'm doing. Hardcore darkness isn't making this any easier either. Okay, we definitely don't want it. Oh no! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Gregtech? What are you... Oh, where's the water column? Get me back down there. Okay, we have water breathing. Let's try that. Oh, I didn't bring any blocks with me. Alright, it looks like we're safe this time. At least we have our 2 graves here. Just make sure nothing falls in the void. Alright, so you joined me the next day here, ready to build some blast furnaces. I was doing some building, which is why I fell into the void. I mean, it kind of is what it is, right? I knew this was going to happen, building over the void without any protections. So I guess we've got 2 more deaths to add to our list, but yeah, so I was just going to move over the blast furnaces that we have currently constructed in the old base. But I thought if we're going to build blast furnaces and move blast furnaces, we might as well make more. So we are going to go for another 5 blast furnaces here, plus a vacuum freezer, plus the 3 that we already have. I guess there's space for 4 here, but I don't think we'll have enough material for the coil blocks. I was considering going for Vulcanus, which is a GT++ version of a blast furnace, but this is a touch expensive for us right now. It takes IV robot arms, plus we need an LUV circuit. And there's a bunch of other IC2 things in here. I don't think we're quite ready for this yet. And it also takes blazing pyrotheum to basically fuel it, along with power. And my thinking is that basically since I have so many machines to rebuild from the old base, I mean, we're in no hurry, so 8 blast furnaces properly set up and automated is going to be more than enough for this point in the game. I was also just going to cut straight to these blast furnaces being built, but I thought we would build them on camera. I mean, we've built many blast furnaces here on the channel, especially in Nomi Factory. However, we have some new technology now in GTNH which we can use, in the form of these stocking input buses and stocking input hatches. No, wait. Quadruple input hatches, which is for fluids. And of course, the blast furnaces do take fluids and items. Okay, so a non-negotiable is the heat-proof casing. We need muffler hatches on top, so those can go above the controller. Pointing upwards, of course, with the wrench. And also building them on camera can give you guys a refresher on how these things work. And also myself a refresher, because I've forgotten a lot of the mechanics here, so I thought it'd be fun to build these things with you. So it's been about 8 hours since I was mentioning where we're going to place the blast furnaces, and in that time, I did fill these blast furnaces. It looks like they've finished by now. Excellent. This is perfect timing. I did fill these blast furnaces with HSS, which is what we'll use for the new coils. We should already have some in the ME system as well. I did come and empty them out, and is this thing still running? I guess we'll leave this one for the end. It's still melting titanium. I think I'm going to do that one a bit differently as well. So in the ME system, we have 208 ingots of HSS. I think I made 512 in total, 513. I don't know how there's an extra... Oh, I guess it makes 9 per recipe, right, in the mixer? I bet it's 9 per recipe, yeah. And I've also added recipes for the coil blocks, along with all of the other ingredients required for the coils. One of those being mica. And mica has more than a few steps. It's like bending machine plus alloy smelter plus forming press. Fortunately, we actually do have all those machines automated, so it was just a matter of adding patterns. And I can't stress enough how important it is to add patterns as you go. Trust me, you're going to thank yourself later, that's for sure. I did just have to upgrade our assembler here. Yeah, this assembler PA to make the stocking input buses and hatches, as we had run out of slots in the interface, and these pattern capacity cards, while they're not the most expensive thing, I mean, for only another 9 slots per card, which is what it gives you in the interface, 9 slots for this, 216 KME storage components, plus an interface. And just to remind you guys the recipes here, I mean, It's I mean, we have it all automated by now, but it's like, yeah, welcome to GTNH plus some platinum. Yeah, things are expensive here, that's for sure. Anyway, so we got all the recipes added. We should be able to request 16 coil blocks. I know we need more than that, but let's just start with 16. Also takes molten HSSG, which we have on Autocraft. The molten version, that is. We don't have HSSG on Autocraft, but hopefully if we set up these blast furnaces right, all of the blast furnace ingots should be on Autocraft. Okay, it's making the coil blocks. This is 35 seconds in an auto. Oh no, IV assembler? Wait. Do we have an IV assembler? Hold on, our assembler is in a processing array. Is it IV? Oh no. Oh no! Oh, recipe needs more power to start IV. Are you kidding me? This is only EV. We've not made the IV assembling machine, have we? We've made the IV circuit assembling machine. Wait, we do have the IV assembling machine. So where is it? I did not anticipate this at all, but we're gonna roll with it here. Hold on, let's we're searching for a machine. Where is our IV assembling machine? Is it in the clean room maybe? Is it in here? No. It's one of the white machines, I know that for a fact. But again, it's been so long since I've played. Is it in the AE system? It's in the AE system. Okay. Okay, nice. We have an IV assembling machine. Let's go get those materials from the processing array. Okay, let's just stick this down like over here somewhere. This is our mixer, by the way, which I placed down to mix up the HSS-S and HSS-E last episode. And it's just down here because I know we're going to be moving all this stuff anyway. Aha, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Nice, okay. Check this out. We got our blast furnace trophy here as well. Whoever made the model for this, bravo. This thing is adorable. I love it. Okay, so let's consider the outputs here for the blast furnaces. Since we have these ME output buses, effectively what these are going to do is cache items and then store them as long as there is available storage in an applied energistic system that they're connected to. So we'll give one for every 2 machines. Remember, we are wall sharing these blast furnaces. So normally they are a 3x3 multi-block, but you can take out the middle slice and have them share between 2. So this one is for these 2 machine controllers, this one is for these 2 machine controllers, and this one is on the end. And then we'll have one for the freezer, and we'll upgrade the ones that exist in the overworld with its own output ME bus, since we want to connect these all to the same system, ideally. And what I'm thinking here, since we don't have any... Oh, careful. Since we don't have any storage here in the void dimension just yet, we only have our main AE system. And we don't have any drives here set up, which is something that I think we're going to tackle and overhaul next episode. I'm actually quickly alleviating the problem of not having anything to do in this world. We have so many things to do. So basically, if you'll remember last episode, we had our miner in the nether. I went to collect that thing since it had finished mining nether quartz. And we have to keep the materials flowing, right? So I was considering what we should place it on next. Ended up going with a manganese vein, since we need something called tantalite. And tantalite dust we can process, which we're doing automatically already. It's set up in our electrolyzer. And that is going to give us tantalum. And tantalum we use in a lot of different places, mainly in circuit production. And it's used in a few different places in circuit production. So we need a lot of tantalum coming up here, especially for the assembly line, which is one of the major progression goals that we're going to have in the next couple of episodes. And we got our miner set up. I forgot how tedious it is to set up the miner, because it needs things like drilling fluid, it needs stone dust, you need to set up the mixer to mix it on site, and then you're handling super tanks full of benzene and fuel, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we got it set up in the overworld there, mining manganese. And I went back to our ore processing system only to discover that it was completely full. And yeah, all the chests were backed up, everything was backed up, and it was a big mess. For now, I just decided to band-aid fix it and upgrade some of the drawers, upgrade some of the drives, but we are going to have to address that next episode. So yeah, what I was saying was I think we're going to do a subnet system for the blast furnaces initially, and then we might connect it up to the main storage system whenever we have that in the void dimension, but we need somewhere to store the output. So I've made a 64K storage cell, a little ME drive, and we'll get a subnet system going. But for now, the first quest on camera, I think it might be. I got a quest for the ingot here, which can give us an IV bag. And just because we've been on so many tangents already, let's see if we can enchant this and see what we get, because the IV bags are insanely good, or can be insanely good. Ram wafers? That's not insanely good. That's very, very average. In fact, very below average. And that cost us an IV motor to do that as well. Oh well. Alright, we got a fancy looking blast furnace here. I really like these HSSS coils. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it a lot. I'm not sure what exactly this unlocks for us. It says here, technically the coil tier can be skipped, but you need to get LUV to get the next one. You should really get these coils now. I also agree, because we do get the discounts and everything for higher tier coils. To process more advanced materials like LUV superconductor base, you need more than 500 or 5400 Kelvin. And these things are 6300 Kelvin. 6301 Kelvin. And I think we need the superconductor base LUV wire for the assembly line. It's in here somewhere, hold on. Oh, maybe it's just used in the assembly line for the LUV stuff, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Fusion reactors? Yeah, that's way, way ahead of ourselves right now. So one other non-negotiable of the blast furnaces is to give it power. We haven't talked about which voltage tier we're going to run these machines at, and I don't know if we're going to do them all at the same tier. Ideally, we go for the highest tier because we can get overclocks, and that will speed up the recipes, and also allow us to cook higher tier materials. So it seems that right now we've only made up to the EV energy hatch, right? Extreme voltage energy hatch, which is somewhere. Yeah, here. In IV, I don't think we've made the IV energy hatch, and normally, the convention in Gregtech is that the energy hatch is one of the most expensive parts to craft in a given tier. So in any one of these tiers, the energy hatch is normally the most expensive thing, which is probably why we haven't unlocked the quest yet. And this looks like pain. Electric pumps, HE coolant, insane voltage. I think this is iridium, which we get from the platinum line. Superconductor. IV machine hulls. Okay, I think we can manage this. Tungsten cable. As long as we can make the superconductor, then we're good. Helium we can manage. Electric pumps I think we can manage, so long as we have enough tungsten steel and graphene. And then superconductor base. Yeah, you see what I mean by the superconductor wire being so expensive. So the superconductor base is, well, cooked in the blast furnace. I'm glad I didn't take down the blast furnaces that we have already. And we need the dust, which is indium and vanadium. Please tell me we have some indium dust. 429. Okay, that should be enough. And graphene. How much graphene for the IV parts? Yeah, 176. Okay, fingers crossed we have everything. I'm going to just make this off camera real quick. I think it's going to take me about 2 hours, if I was to guess. Alright guys, so we're getting there. I'm still waiting on a few superconductors in the blast furnace. The only thing is, I did overlook the fact that we need an IV cutting machine. So I thought I'd bring you back because we can also get 2 more quests here. We need quantum processor assemblies, which we have on Autocraft. It's just apparently we haven't held any yet. It's a blood moon, by the way, so there's the quest. And we can use those assemblies to craft an IV cutting machine. Right? We want to do this. Is there a quest for it anywhere? I don't think so. Nah, I think we're past the point of getting individual quests for individual machines. The other option is to upgrade our multi-block, but I don't think we can do that yet, because we don't have energy hatches to make it IV. In fact, you know what? The machine doesn't even... We don't even have a multi-block cutting machine anywhere. It's only single blocks that we have. So might as well craft another one. There's our advanced IV cutting machine. So of course the recipe does have to be done inside here, where we have a clean environment. But we only have EV power in here because there's only EV machines, and this is IV. However, the benefit to doing a single block machine over the multi-block is that we can use one of these. And we should just be able to stick this in the energy slot, and it's going to run the recipe for us, so long as we give it lubricant, but we should have some lubricant in here. Now the other thing is, I just realised this like 20 seconds ago before I cut. We need an IV chemical reactor. Should we just make the single block just to be easy? Because we need to double up an IV. Wait, this is what we'll do. We have this large chemical reactor here, which is for auto crafting. And whenever you double up the energy hatches, you effectively overclock the machine when it's on multi-blocks. And that applies for, I think, every single machine. So this is running at EV tier. If we give it another EV energy hatch, that sends 4 amps of EV, and that effectively makes it IV. EV. Yes, this should make it IV power. And just for consistency, we'll cover the cable, or paint the cable. Yes, okay, so now we can't add a cutting machine recipe because that's the one that has the battery in. It's not connected to applied energistics, but our chemical reactor should be indium gallium phosphide dust plus molten vanadium gallium plus PIC PIC wafer. Yes. Okay, yes, we do have them. Perfect. I know this is confusing, by the way. This is this is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to make a series on NH, because you start doing something and then you realize that you need to jump through like 10 different hoops just to get the machine that you want. Oh, thank goodness. We have indium gallium phosphide. It looks like on Autocraft. And we have indium on Autocraft. I think that's in our oil processing room that we make that. And after adding some recipes, I think we can request this. Let's see if it works. I think we might be waiting on the assembling machine first. But as soon as we see that green light, we're golden. Oh, that's right. Whenever you break the multi-block, you need to turn it back on again. There we go. Okay, 60 seconds each. In the meantime, I'm going to come and grab the rest of the superconductor. I done a full stack. We'll just let that finish. But this is more than enough. This is way more than we need. Chemical reactor is finished. Let's put this through the cutting machine. In the meantime, we can make use of our IV assembling machine again, circuit number 9. And this is going to be helium gas, electric pumps, tiny niobium titanium fluid pipe, and superconductor base. This should work. Yeah, 40 seconds. So we have the pumps, we have the high power ICs, those are being cut right now. We just put the superconductor wire in the assembling machine, this recipe here. We have the IV machine hulls, and we have the voltage coils here. And the coolant cells should be in the AE system, which they are. Yep, there's the spare 8 pumps, and our superconductor. And I hope also the quest. Alright, so finally we can put everything together in the assembling machine. And I think that was just shy of 2 hours to craft all this stuff. Maybe a little less. And yeah, we're going to have enough for 8 energy hatches, which should be enough to do all of our blast furnaces and then the freezer as well. Oh, wait a second, no, we're going to be one short if we also want the freezer. So maybe some of the blast furnaces are going to be at EV. But regardless, this should be a quest. Look at this, the quest book is even taunting us. I hope you had fun with the plat line. And it gives us a whole bunch of salt as a reward. Believe it or not though, I'm actually not salty at all. I just need a break after all that crafting. We also have a bit more crafting to do because we need to craft up some more energy cable and also transformers. So I started running the wiring down here. But these are going to be IV, this is LUV power, so we need an IV transformer. In fact, it's going to have to be the high amp transformer because the regular one is only 4 amps. And each energy hatch requires 2 amps. Or it can potentially require 2 amps, depending on the recipe. However, I did just realise how long this episode is getting, so I think we're going to wrap up here. Because I don't really want to rush through the blast furnaces, setting that up, because I think that would be really fun to keep on camera. So I think we'll start with that next time. Along with all the salt though for that quest, we did get 4 more loot bags. Plus I think there's one for the IV superconductor. And there's also one for the quantum processor assembly, which we're definitely going to take. Okay, let's enchant our loot bags and finish with a loot bag opening. Let's just go for it. That's terrible. That is awful. Nah, you know what? I think we still profited. We got 4 of the 6 electric motors back. No, I'm going to take this as a win. We got some free energy hatches at EV. Large tungsten steel fluid pipes, or fluid cells. Can we recycle these? I think we might be able to. Maybe not, but these hold 500,000 each, right? Yeah, 500,000 each. That's crazy. 500,000 millibuckets, I guess. A data orb, which we're going to need. An Aquada ore, dimensional transceiver, we have a few of those. Platinum cable, that's useful. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad after all. So we didn't get the blast furnaces finished off today, but we're going to have some fun with that next episode. We did double the power though. And also, as of this moment in time, episode 49 has went live, and oh my goodness, you guys are crazy. There's been thousands of comments on that video already. I cannot believe the response. So, I don't know, I'm speechless. Thank you guys so much for the warm welcome back to YouTube. And yeah, so long as I'm having fun, I'm going to be uploading videos here. And yeah, so long as the tier 7 rocket is not crafted, I'm going to be uploading videos here. Yeah, all of you guys were very nice in the comment section. I'm sorry if I missed a comment. I do try to read them all, but there's just been so many. Like, it's been insane. I'm not built for this. Anyways, I'll see you guys next episode for some blast furnace fun. And oh yeah, also storage. We have to fix our storage situation.